You need to create. You need to create things, not just for yourself, but for the people that come next. Because no matter what, we are all architects of fate. Okay. So, yes, this is the Builders. This is very interesting. This is literally the first poem of the book. This is a very, very good poem. So we're going to start reading it now. Going forward, we're probably going to we're going to do these every Tuesday because I would like to become more verbose. And I feel like looking at poems and seeing how they kind of stretch the English language. That's my cat, Boba. Boba was being mischievous today, staring at me with hostile intent. All are architects of fate, working in these walls of time. Some with massive deeds and great, some with ornaments of rhyme. Nothing useless is or low. Each thing in its place is best, and what seems but idle show strengthens and supports the rest. For the structure that we raise, time is with materials filled. Our todays and yesterdays are the blocks with which we build. Truly, shape and fashion these. Leave no yawning gaps between. Think not, because no man sees, such things will remain unseen. In the elder days of art, builders wrought with greatest care each minute and unseen part, for the gods see everywhere. Let us do our work as well, both the unseen and the seen. Make the house where gods may dwell beautiful, entire, and clean. Else our lives are incomplete, standing in these walls of time, broken stairways where the feet stumble as they seek to climb. Build today, then strong and sure, with a firm and ample base, and ascending and secure, shall tomorrow find its place. Thus alone we can attain to those turrets where the eye sees the world as one vast plain and one boundless reach of sky. I like this. I like this very much. Okay, so now that we've read through the poem, how should we go about doing this? I feel like we should go line by line, like verse for verse, or like each section. So essentially the poem, The Builders, is, from what I gather, is a poem talking about people building things, building buildings, quite literally, building like ideas, building obviously buildings. They use the metaphor of a literal building, a kind of they kind of stretch it, so it could literally just be buildings, but it's more than that. You can use the metaphor of a building as in like building an idea, building a thought, building a movement, building an organization. The idea behind all of it is to build things so that the next generation or people you will never meet can enjoy the things that were built. Well, one of the quotes that I think I remember is I don't know exactly where this is from. Planting trees that you'll never rest in the shade of, something along the lines of that. And the idea is that there's trees that you plant, whether that be an idea, a movement, or an organization, some type of goal you have in mind. You plant the seeds of them, but you will never see them come to fruition. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't plant those seeds, right? I think that is kind of the main idea with this poem, is the idea that you build things not just for the immediate the immediate gratification of building that thing, but to build things for the next generation. So yeah, we got the kind of idea of what the poem is. We've read it, so we're gonna go through like verse by verse, and we're gonna go through it and kind of talk about what each part means in relation to kind of the bigger picture. Okay, So this first one is all are architects of fate, working in these walls of time, some with massive deeds and great, some with ornaments of rhyme. And so I think what this is talking about is how everybody is kind of can be an architecture of fate. Now, I don't think this even leaves it up to interpretation. It means literally every single person, everybody in chat is an architect of fate. I am an architect of fate. You, dear viewer, are an architect of fate. We're all working within these walls of time, meaning we all have so much time on this planet. And in that time, we all kind of do our own things that build. Some might have these incredible deeds, some with some great things that we do. Yes, some people do great deeds, some people have great accomplishments, some people make music. And so everybody has a role. Every single person has something that they can do, something they can build with. This continues in the next verse, which is nothing is useless. Nothing useless is or low. Each thing in its place is best. And what seems but idle show strengthens and supports the rest. So this first line, I think, this first line, I think, is talking about how nothing that you do is useless or low. And when I think they say low, I think unimportant. I think that's what they mean when they say low. They mean nothing is unimportant. Nothing is useless. Building, because the poem does not the first line, nothing useless is or low. Nobody and nothing anything does is pointless. And in the previous, so in the first kind of verse, they say all are architects of fate. Now, this wordage is very important. He says all. So he does not say some. He does not say will, or he does not leave any room for negotiation. Everybody is an architect of fate, whether they choose to be or not. So because the author does not leave any room for anybody to not be an architect of fate, everybody is, regardless of whether they want to. And then we look at the second verse. When we look at the second one, we say nothing useless is or low. And so everybody, whether they want to be or not, is an architect of fate, no matter what. And so everything they do, no matter what, makes them an architect. All right, so let's go to the next line. Nothing useless is or low. Each thing in its place is best. And what seems but idle show strengthens and supports the rest. So I think what the rest of the verse is kind of talking about is how we already know everyone's an architect of fate. We know that everything everybody does has purpose to building. Even if you don't have some sort of great deed, even if you don't have some sort of great feat, even if you're not an artist of some kind, what you do, even if it doesn't seem like much at all, it strengthens and supports the rest. When the rest means everybody else, it supports the rest of the proverbial building that everybody's building, that all architects of fate are building. And so, I think of something like something like a janitor, right? A janitor is extremely important. Their job is extremely important. It's looked down on. It's not, met with, reverence or reverence, right? But it's an extremely important role. And so that kind of person, it might be what seems but idle show, right? So it might seem like a kind of like not important job, but it strengthens and supports the rest, right? It's important. It is an important job. It's important to keep a place clean so that the people who are also working in the place can, keep doing what they're doing. It's about how every single person is important. Every single role is important. No role is, better or worse. It might just be support. It might be a support role. And even if it's a support role that is unseen, it's still extremely important. Let's move on to the next. For the structure that we raise, time is with materials filled. Our todays and yesterdays are the blocks with which we build. This third verse, for the structures that we raise, time is with materials filled. Okay, so what does this mean? What is this talking about? Yeah, so the proverbial buildings we build, or the literal buildings we build, are filled with time spent. Time spent working on these structures, working on ideas, writing a book, painting a painting. So yeah, time is literally, quite literally, what is used as the materials to build the literal or metaphorical buildings. Like I was saying, writing a book, painting a painting, writing poems, writing stories, that kind of thing. Our todays and yesterdays are the blocks which we build. And so what this is talking about is every single day we are architects of fate. Every single day we have a limited amount of time we can spend building stuff. And those blocks, the proverbial blocks, it could be literal, or I think the author is talking about this in a proverbial way, where the time that we spend doing things are the material, one is the materials used, and, the days we spend doing those things are the blocks that we put together to build up the buildings. This is continuing the idea that our time spent doing things builds things. Whether we are in a support role, whether we do great deeds, or whether we do, unseen deeds. Regardless, everything we do has some sort of purpose. This is number 4. Truly, shape and fashion these. Leave no yawning gaps between. Think not, because no man sees, such things will remain unseen. I think so. Obviously, we're continuing on from the third verse, which is talking about how the time we spent is the literal materials we use to build buildings, and we can then kind of fashion these together. We can shape them in a way that leaves no gaps. So they're talking about how time is a block that we can that we have. So we can take these blocks of a material, which is our time, and we can shape these and mold these into different ways to build things, and leave no yawning gaps between. And I think that means literal gaps. Think not, because no man sees, such things will remain unseen. And I think what they're talking about here is how the time we spend doing things, which we then build with that time spent, will typically never be seen. Those seams that we fill in, those gaps that we cover, the actual shaping and molding of the buildings that we build will never be seen. And I think what this is alluding to is the end product. People don't see what it takes to get to somewhere. Like what you see here, what you, dear viewer, are seeing on the stream right now. This is the product of many hours, many very late nights, many hours and days and weeks and months coming to this point. But that's not something you'd ever see. You see what's in front of you right now. You don't see what I do in the background. Yeah, you don't see what is done in the background, and not that that's a problem. I don't I don't really expect people to care too much about that. But it does drive the point home with what verse 4 is talking about. How the time I've spent doing these things, which are my proverbial blocks, I have molded and fashioned into what we have now, this building that we have. And all that time, you won't ever see it because it wasn't recorded. You only see what I stream or upload. You don't see anything else in the background. The hours and hours I've spent editing, graphic designing, just sitting there pondering and thinking about how to do something better, how to improve some part of the stream, how to be funnier. I don't I don't got to be better at that, but I'm already pretty funny as is, whatever. But thinking about how to talk to chat, or how to what kind of stuff do we want to talk about, what direction do we want to go in, and all that. We're powering through the rest of these. I am speed running. In the elder days of art, builders wrought with greatest care, each minute and unseen part, for the gods see everywhere. I think what this is talking about is how in the act of building things in the olden days, people were very meticulous in how they built their whatever, and they built their literal, and they built their art, the music they crafted, the stories they wrote, the paintings they painted, the statues they carved. They built these things with great care because they believed at the time the gods were watching. And a lot of the time they were building these things in favor, or for the gods, like literally. And so they needed to build things with a very meticulous focus on it to not draw the ire of the gods. And so when they talk about each minute and unseen part, they mean literally everything they would do from start to finish in building things, or quite literally building buildings, was accounted for and thought for. It was extremely important because they believed the gods were always watching. And so in the act of kind of doing things half-heartedly, they didn't, or if they did things half-heartedly, the gods would look down on them and potentially punish them. Off to the next point. Let us do our work as well, both the unseen and the seen. Make the house where the gods dwell beautiful, entire, and clean. So I think what verse 6 is talking about is the reason they brought up the how art in the older days was done for the gods, and how each minute and unseen detail was done with the utmost care, because people believed the gods were always watching, and so any half-hearted attempt to build something for them would be seen as a slight to the gods, and that people might be punished. And so talking here, let us do our work as well. So he's talking about how the work and the art that we make, and the buildings and the proverbial buildings we build with our time, should be done in the same way, both the unseen and the seen. Make the house where the gods may dwell beautiful, entire, and clean. And they use the word may there, and that's a very, very important word. There is no chance, there's no guarantee gods may dwell in the buildings we build, but even if there's a chance, we should still try to build them with the greatest care, each minute and unseen part. And so this is actually very interesting. The author, Mr. Longfellow, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Yeah, so this is actually very interesting. This is an interesting. The The more we delve into this poem, the more I like it. I'm gonna be honest, the more I like it. Yeah, so basically this verse is talking about how we should be building things as if gods are watching. Because they presuppose, or not presuppose, but they talk about how older people in the elder days of art, people built as if gods were always watching. And now, we might not believe in that in the same way, but we should do it as if they are watching, as if a god may dwell, beautiful, entire, clean. On to the next one. All right. So, else our lives are incomplete. Standing in these walls of time, broken stairways where the feet stumble as they seek to climb. What I think this is talking about is if we don't try to build buildings, quite literally or metaphorically, in the most meticulous way, our lives aren't really fulfilled. And then we are just here, literally just standing in these walls of time with nothing but broken stairways where feet stumble as they seek to climb. Because regardless, and I think this is something that maybe the author is getting at, or maybe I'm adding on to it. Regardless of whether we want to engage with being an architect of fate, people outside of us are going to want to climb stairs, these stairs of these buildings, these proverbial buildings we build, these broken stairways where the feet stumble. And they say where the feet stumble as they seek to climb. And so it's important, the words the feet and they seek. It's a very, very important word choice because they aren't talking about us. They are talking about others who would potentially want to climb and build upon these stairs we have already built. And if we choose not to build, we are really, making it harder for future people to continue to build. Yeah, so this seventh verse brings in the idea that whether we want to be architects of fate or not, it doesn't matter, because regardless, there's going to be people after us who will be architects of fate. No matter what happens, there's always going to be architects of fate. There's always going to be people that come after us that want to climb the stairs that we build. And if we leave these stairways broken, they're going to stumble. Yet, they will still, no matter what, seek to climb those stairs, whether they are broken or not. It's kind of beautiful. It's kind of beautiful. Build today, then strong and sure, with a firm and ample base, and ascending and secure shall tomorrow find its place. Yeah, one day you'll leave this world behind, so live a life you'll remember. Not just a life you'll remember, but a life people can continue to build on. It's not just about you. It's not just about you. You are important. Don't get that wrong. You are important. But it's important that you, in your life, in the limited time you have here on this planet, spend it building things, spend it doing things, spend it helping people, because no matter what, once you're gone, there's still going to be more people that are going to need help. There's still going to be more people who want to be better, want to do better, want to seek better outcomes. And so like verse 8 talks about build today, then strong and sure with a firm and ample base. And so I think what it's talking about is what you need to do, and ascending and secure shall tomorrow find its place. And so I think what verse 8 is talking about is that you should be building for today, and you should, and with building for today, you will then have a secure foothold to be able to build for tomorrow. So yeah, it's important to build on today, and do it with strength, do it with confidence, because building today means you have a base to be able to build for tomorrow, and then the next day, and then the next day. And on to the final verse. which I think wraps this whole thing up. Thus alone can we attain to those turrets, where the eye sees the world as one vast plain and one boundless reach of sky. And I think what this is talking about is it's talking about how we are all architects of fate, and the time we have on this planet in these walls, as we stand in these walls of time, and we spend this time building these buildings and building these stairways. What the purpose is to be able to see the world as one vast plane, to be able to see the vast world that that is before us, and to be able to see the endless sky, and to be able to continue building, to be able to continue to grow, not just for us, but so that the next generation can also see the vast world before them. So that way they can stare up at the sky and wonder, can I build to that? Yeah, this poem was fantastic. This poem was fantastic. This is amazing. It's amazing. It talks about how you need to spend your time building. You need to create. You need to create things, not just for yourself, but for the people that come next. Because no matter what, we are all architects of fate. And regardless of whether we want to engage with that reality, there's going to be people coming after us. And those people who come after us will want to engage with their reality, engage with their fate of being builders. And so that leaves us with the dilemma. Should we allow the stairways remain broken and allow the next generation of architects to stumble on their way up? Or should we try our best to build those stairs with purpose, so that the way the next generation has an easier time?